No two games are exactly the same, but sometimes they're so different in their design that it makes it almost impossible to create a review without completely spoiling its content. So when an indie developer approached me with a copy of their new game, I didn't let its unique direction stop me from giving it a try. This is the Bombchu mini review of Just One Line. Just One Line is a story-driven, choose-your-own-adventure game similar to the Goosebumps books we used to read as kids. It's definitely an odd duck when it comes to the current atmosphere of games, as it forgoes a focus on voice acting and action-heavy set pieces and instead kicks it old school in more than one way. The game starts with the usual creation of your character and then rolling a few key stats that tend to have an impact on the narrative as you play. These stats can be boiled down to their D&D equivalents of strength, intelligence, and charm. After you create your character, you're thrust into a medieval pub with several quests to choose from posted on a bulletin board. This is where the core gameplay and the trouble of reviewing a title like this begins. Each quest has a multitude of branching paths that can spin off into multiple directions. While going in depth and showing bits and pieces of every quest would be great for a video, I'm going to focus on one quest and essentially ruin it for you. The quest I chose employs you with protecting the villagers from bandits as they invade the village. On the first playthrough, I decided to pick an all-power person and fight them head on. The first option I chose was to meet them outside, which just so happened to place me in combat with the head honcho himself, the bandit chief. The altercation began at combat phase, which is clearly a minor focus for this game. Each attack you do invokes an attack from the opponent. Once you or the opponent loses all your hit points, the battle resolves. Fairly straightforward, but there are a few nuances within the system to make things interesting enough. After the battle, I was given the option to slay or give the bandit chief over to the authorities, and because I was being such a good boy, I gave him over and the quest ended. For my efforts, I received a bounty, some points and stats related to being just and kind, and some infamy. Now, where this gets interesting is when I rolled my second character. This time I wanted to be a sneaky, conniving jerk only out for myself. As the quest began, I was presented with the same options, but instead of going out to meet them, I stayed indoors and hid with the villagers. Suddenly, the bandits bursted into the pub and became extremely hostile, which presented me with another choice of fighting, but instead, I chose self-preservation. From here, what can only be described as a fortunate series of events befell me. I somehow managed to knock one of the bandits down, make a run for the door, and get out of dodge without even entering the battle phase. I was safe, but the villagers paid for it the next day, and I failed my mission royally. That, however, is exactly what this game is about. There are a myriad of quests, and each one has a unique path, where you can choose to be the just hero or the down and dirty scoundrel. That isn't to say everything is perfect in the land of Just One Line. In the build I played, there are 3 saves you can pick from, and each save can unlock certain classes and races to keep playing as for the rest of the game. My main problem with this is if I earned something on one file and wanted to try it out, I'd have to retire my hero first before I could switch to that race. Retiring your hero basically saves all unlocked races and puts your hero into the Hall of Fame where players compete for the highest infamy rating. My beef is that when you spend that much time unlocking each job or race, it should be unlocked for your overall game and not just one save slot. The only other complaint, which is minor, is that the story is told without any voice acting at all. This was an issue at first glance, but I think the game will become even more interesting with some spoken lines to really bring the excellently written script to life. And I do mean that it's very well written. A lot of Just One Line reads like how a dungeon master would describe the world to you. It helps immerse you in an otherwise static world and breathe life into what, on paper, should not be an enjoyable game. Not only that, but some of the interactions made me laugh out loud at what I have done by being a coward. At the end of the day, the question is it worth your time and $10? As of this review, the game is still in early access, and as it continues to bloom, I do see that it could become a cult favorite simply from its many choices and freedom built into the system. Personally, I would say it's worth your time, but I don't see it having much replayability if you're looking for a game to play forever. There is some fun in going back with another character and seeing how that alternate path plays out for the most part, but I think most players will only play through Just One Line's quest once or twice before rest with much satisfaction within their Steam libraries. Beyond that, I did find it extremely hard to grade its graphics or other gameplay mechanics since it was so focused on doing one thing right, which it did. So instead, I'll just say that I had a blast playing it. At the moment, it doesn't have much content out, but this is a game to keep watch of as it continues to grow. And that's another Bombchu review. Thanks for watching.